Officer Ford, take one.
Ford, take one.
Darrell, what's so different about covering a war as opposed to any other story?
Survival. It's as simple as that.
When you say as simple as that, what do you mean?
Well, you can, in a story in Australia, you got an element of risk of being running a gauntlet through heavy traffic and things like that. In a war in Vietnam, or say any war, really, you just don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what cartridge has got your number matched on it, and that's it. You just don't know what's there.
Nevertheless, that makes life very exciting for you.
Yes, it makes it quite exciting in a lot of ways, because the thing is, you've got to remember, in a war, you may be the only bloke there, and if you're the only bloke there and a good action happens, by God, you've got it. And I've said before to other people, your ego, it comes into a little bit, but the personal satisfaction of you doing something, as well as being able to help your fellow man, like if he's injured, you take a few photos if there's umpteen blokes helping around. But the thing is, you don't let your camera completely take control of him, and you've got to be human too. And this is me.
So it comes down, in your instance, to a certain amount of ego, but mainly the excitement, the adrenaline rush of being there and seeing something unique which few people would experience otherwise.
Yeah, I think you're summing it up pretty well. The adrenaline runs very high, I can assure you that. Especially when you've got an unknown quantity of people firing, or you walk into a minefield, but then you start freezing, and you say, well, if I'm frozen, what are the others doing? So you whip around and you go bang, bang, bang with your cine or your still camera, and you've got it. And the expressions, if you've got a nice long lens, you can get some beautiful expressions on people's faces.
It seems obvious that given the chance, you'd go back into a war zone again.
At the moment, if there was a war going on, yes, I think I'd be one of the first to go. I wouldn't go to a Timor like it was this recent, because I have my own reservations on the Timor situation as it was. I personally wouldn't have done what had happened there, and I don't want to cast any dispersions on those who are there, and got a couple of my mates were killed there, but no, I can't comment on Timor any further than that, but I would be in a war zone.
What do you think the difference is between you working as a professional soldier and cameraman, and someone who's working as a cameraman, for a commercial television station?
Well, the only way I can answer that is by saying the soldier himself in the field will not put his full trust into a professional civilian, a cameraman, journalist, or anything like that. He will put more of his trust in the soldier cameraman, because he knows he's a soldier. He understands the problems involved of being a soldier. And I can get 100,000 arguments right now, but the thing is, being a soldier, having known the blokes for so long, handled this, like civvies in the field, they're terrified of them, because one mistake, one crack, one noise, lost their lives.
You talked before about freezing when, say, for instance, you come upon a minefield or an ambush. How do you combat fear generally, the overawing impact of fear?
Fear is a thing each individual person has to overcome himself, really. It's some people are born to be able to control fear, some can't. Like in a minefield, the first thing you do is, as a professional soldier, you think, you freeze, and then you think what's happened. You might be standing on a jumping jack mine. You don't move, and you yell out to your number behind you, which could be a medic or something. I'm on a mine, or I need help. I can't move. So it goes back down the chain of command, and
as relatively calmly as that.
Well, what else are you going to do? If you move off, it's going to jump up in the air and it's going to probably knock you and 3 others out. I mean, you've just got to take control of the situation.
Have you been in a situation where guys have actually been standing on a mine and...
My word, I've seen it, and yes, I know one bloke used to hourly, well, my figures might be a little bit out, but if I remember right, it was 3/4 of an hour he stood there. And he wasn't going to move, and I tell you what, I wouldn't be going to move either if it was me. I'd be there till doomsday.
Yeah. You were wounded in the end, weren't you? And that was the reason why you were shipped back to Australia. Can you tell us briefly how that happened?
Well, it's a bit of a short story in a way. We had a big Operation Canberra, #1. The big operation the Australians did was named after an Australian capital and this thing. And we've been chasing a particular Vietnamese regiment for quite a while, which has been harassing us and giving us quite a bit of trouble. And that was August, September, October 1966. And so we did a battalion assault. So 5 battalion moved out to a place called Wolverton Mountains, which was the Nui Dinh Mountains, a huge mountain chain right in front of our base camp. Quite a fair way away, of course. And we went in the rain, wet, miserable period, no change of clothes, and we had one resupply, and we were tracking them around because they used to leave their excreta around. They're pretty easy to follow when they're like this. And, yeah, we came down across this particular riverbed this particular night, and we found these French bombs and mines going back from the French Indochina War. It doesn't impress us too much, they're all alive. And so anyhow, later on, it was getting on dusk, and so the commanding officer, Colonel War, he turned around and he ordered the forward companies to retreat, well not retreat, tactically withdraw back up the hill overnight, and we'll have Charlie the next morning. So we slept on the side of a mountain in raging rain, wrapped ourselves in ponchos. If you've ever slept on the side of a hill like that and trying to stop rolling downhill, it's an exciting night. Yeah. Keeping your weapon dry and everything, and cameras in my situation. And came first light, off we went again. And we got down the bottom into this thing, we could hear this digging going on, and this digging was quite constant in the sandy area, and we went to ground, and it was obviously mortar base plates being dug in, because they had an idea we were in the area. And so a bit of movement went forward, and I was only about 4 or 5 from the points from the front man, yeah. That's how I always travel, because I could never get them, like Charlie or the blokes in front. I could always get the blokes behind doing things. So it's my strategy in here. Right. And we heard a muffled explosion, which must have been a hand grenade or something, and small arms fire, and then we all started to deploy. And our platoon commander was here, there, everywhere. So I started moving. Next thing is God Almighty, bang, and of course there's blokes all over the place, and none of us knew what happened.
It was a mine though, was it?
It was electric mine, yeah. They'd been waiting for us. And because then we had a strategic withdrawal of the wounded, and then we got all
that was what the choppers coming in, was it?
Well, yeah, we had to get back to an area. In that area, well, by that stage, all the rest of the battalion companies were moving forward through us.
Well, hell's breaking loose. You say it very calmly, but I imagine it's sort of...
No, there's no such thing as panic in under controlled situations. The Australian Army is trained to do the right thing. And like when the Yanks go out and make a hell of a noise, we do it stealthily. And because, okay, we have companies in here and a squad move here and all this type of thing. And they moved through and left us with a rear guard, and because what we had to, when I say we, I was one of the injured, they had to cut a huge clearing for the dust-off helicopters. These are the Mercy helicopters, the Yanks, to come in through the rubber and land and pick us up. And that took 2 hours just about. The Australians, the Yanks came in first, and the Australian Air Force came in and took us all back down to Bung Tower, where the worst ones were lifted out first, and those of us who weren't quite as bad, that was it. So out of that particular operation, 8 of us eventually were repatriated back home.
Oh yeah, and so this is what you're being carried out.
No, that's me with this type of a grin.
Yeah, right.
But I'm gritting the teeth.
It was a grimace as opposed to a grin, though.
I'm
Was
not
it?
very happy, I can assure you.
Yeah.
There we've got blokes here, stretchers here, and there's a mate of mine. I carried him out before I fell down and ripped my leg out too.
Really? Yeah.
Rick, yeah. And because there's a helicopter bloke there, you see his helmet there. And there's blokes, you know, in that area. It was just a max exodus. We had to get all our wounded out before anything else happened. And not long after that, we had more come in. Like, you know, we just had a constant flow of wounded.
Was it almost a relief though to have that happen to you?
No way in the world, because I wanted to stay. I mean, actually at that stage, I gone through a very bad stage. As an Australian soldier, I thought I'd never see homeland again. I really mean it.
That's the end of that one.
Yeah.
Click it.
Okay, mark it. Take two.
I imagine it was almost a.
Okay.
I imagine it was almost a relief to have been wounded and shipped back home then.
No, not really. I was looking forward to staying there. A lot of us had up to our necks, you know, right up the top here, as far as Vietnam and going, because we'd gone through a pretty rough stage, Fire Battalion. We'd gone to a period where we had absolutely no leave for 6 months. We had a very high ratio of illness, like scrub typhus and blokes getting sick, general rundown. And I think it was I'm only just quoting figures off the top of my brain if I remember rightly, but I think we had about a third of the battalion rotated. And lots of us, including myself, really thought we'd never ever see home, because it seemed such a long time, and that, you know, and that Vietnam at that stage was just a long forgotten cause. No one at home wanted us, no one loved us at home, you know. We had all the demonstrations, you had the Arthur Corvalls screaming out and arguing, and
so you were very depressed for quite long periods of time.
Yeah, very, very true.
How did you combat that? You didn't, obviously.
Well, we did, yes. We had taken over this place, Apan Phu, at Nui Dat. We took over a big rubber plantation, 5 battalion. And Nui Dat, we had a rifle company up there, and we had made our sergeant's mess and our company sergeant messes. And in base, we had a good time, I can assure you. We made up for our lovely ladies from the Philippines.
I'm not getting in the way, am I, Dave? It's tight enough.
No, just don't sort of lean forward too far.
Yeah.
Okay, mark it. Forward 3. Okay. Okay, cover ready.
How did you let off steam back at base?
We come in back off operation, have a shower out of our makeshift hot showers out of 44-gallon drums, get nice clean clobber on, and sergeants go to the sergeant's mess, and by this stage we had highly illegal refrigerators which we'd connived and stole, and we'd have a mess party, and these mess parties used to last all hours of the day at the regimental sergeant major's discretion. And we had a really top regimental sergeant major, and well, that was it. Well, Col Joye was an interesting one. We had a little patty in Col Joye, and all these people come up there, like the Australian Forces Overseas Fund, you know, entertain us. And down near the task force headquarters, they had this big bit of an amphitheatre, like, you know, dug out, and had armoured personnel carriers all around the M113s. Stuck all around the place, one per entertainer. And anyhow, Col had been allocated this particular one. Col had been allocated this particular one, so we'd already pre-made.
Ladies, the rest tonight.
Oh yes, the rest of the bed dive bombers. And Col had been allocated, so we'd made up our mind. Well, Col was going to go to the sergeant's mess for a drink.
Yeah.
So we went and saw the APC driver, the carrier driver, and we said, right, straight to the sergeant's mess, because he being sergeants, he said, yeah, right, okay. So the rear hatch, Col gets in, the rear hatch closed up, everything's closed up there, and off he goes. And one of our sergeants is in there, a bloke called Tassie was, and next thing they arrived at the sergeant's mess, and a wing-ding party's on, and because all over Vietnam, for the next 12, 14 hours, there's signals flashing, where's Col Joye? Lost, where is he? And there's a hell of a search on there. He is drunk as a skunk with us on the floor. And he had a ball, and even today, he still remembers that. He had a lot of time.
You were involved in the battle for Long Tang. Can you tell us briefly about that battle?
Well, actually, I wasn't actually in the exact battle itself. I was with 5 battalion, and that was 6 battalions' own battle. But the night before it happened, I went over there to see some old buddy mates of mine. I just come back into the field after 6 weeks, and the company sergeant major said to me, "Come on, Shorty," that was my nickname. "Come out on a tail with us tomorrow," which will tail is tactical area responsibility, which is outside the perimeter of the base area. And I said, "Ah, no, blow it, you know."
Do you want to give those a bit of a bash with the gun? Scare them off?
No, he's lost his power.
Yeah, right.